Good morning and welcome to Multiply Mornings. My name is Dan. Today we're asking a hard question. What's wrong with Christianity? I've been in church my entire life. My dad's a pastor, has been for like 30 plus years. I've been in church since the day I was born. What exactly is going on? Why do we find ourselves in this situation? In the last several decades, we've seen a decline of the church that's truly unprecedented. So every year, 4,000 churches close, and only 1,000 new churches are planted every year. In the 1900s, there was 27 churches for every 10,000 people. Now, there's only around 11. What we would actually need to keep up with current population is 38,000 new churches. Church attendance, well, 2.7 million people fall inactive on their church rolls every single year. So we see this decline happening from all sides as it slopes in. So what's the reason for it? Why the decline so sharply in these times? Not only that, with that decline, we see a drastic social change happening as the church diminishes. So what's going on? Well, I found an interesting verse that was really kind of like what spoke out to this to me today. It's one I've read obviously before, but it's Matthew 16:24. It says, "Then Jesus told his disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his soul?'" So that verse right there, I think very specifically etches out why we are seeing this today. Our current society has our current world, our current society has one purpose. That's self. What do I do to make myself the happiest? We see this in everything. TV, movies, everything's a pursuit to get to joy and happiness for myself. And so we see that that's supposed to be obtained by any means necessary. Whether that's sexual exploration, whether that's drugs, whether that's work, whatever it is, to fill the void, to find yourself joy, whatever that may be. But the Bible specifically etches out a different idea. It says to deny oneself. Now that's something we are not privy to. In fact, we want the opposite. Most of us want to be spoiled. I looked out, like we just recently saw the announcement of new MacBook Pros and new Surfaces by Microsoft. And I saw those two things and I'm like, I would love both of those. I would love them, but they're stupid expensive. But a humanistic worldview says do whatever I can to get to whatever's going to bring me joy. We see this tide growing more and more. And we see this in our elections, in our society, in our social culture. Because we see a growing tide of anger. And what I mean by that, you say, well, why would making myself happy make me angry? Well, the reason is we see this tide of people who say, my group, we need to be the top. We need to be even, level. But what we see actually is them trying to put other people down to bring themselves up. Whatever it may be, we see a growing tide of self. And when self is most important, everyone else gets in my way. Everything in life has to be about me. And why I say this, guys, is because it's so pivotal to what's going on. If you take a look around at the world today, you see a guideline of self as the number one. But Jesus says here, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Now we know in Deuteronomy, it says, "Cursed is the man who hangs upon a tree." Now this is my own little grasp here, but Deuteronomy says, "Cursed is the man who hangs on a tree." Jesus hanging on a tree. We're supposed to carry the cross. And so what it means is that we're supposed to take the thing that we think is worst about us and give it to God. Give everything to him. Carry my burden of who I am with me and follow Christ. But yet we see this tide of, I don't want to be who I am. I want to be that person, or I want to be this because that will make me happy. But that is not bringing any fulfillment. Now we flip over again now to 2 Timothy chapter 4, and this is where it really gets interesting. This is 2 Timothy, Paul writing to Timothy, and he says this, "I charge you in the presence of God and Christ Jesus, who is the judge of the living and the dead. By his appearing in his kingdom, preach the word. Be ready in season and out of season to reprove, rebuke, and exhort with complete patience and teaching. For the time is coming," and this is where it gets big, guys, "the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own passions, and turn away from listening to the truth and wander into myths. As for you, always be sober-minded, endure suffering, do the work of an evangelist, grace and fulfill your ministry. Now, this is so pivotal, guys, because Paul is talking about several things we don't like to do. That we are to preach the word and be ready in season and out of season, to reprove, rebuke, and exhort. So what's Paul saying there? We've got to be on guard to be the people who say when stuff's not going right. You know, we've got to be the people who stand up and say the truth when it's not popular. The last thing anybody in this world wants to hear is they're wrong. I know I struggle with that sometimes. Me and Judah will be talking, and she'll say something to me about how I did something. I'll be like, I did not do that. You're just reading into it. And then before I calm down, I'm like, okay, yeah, you were probably right. I'll work on making my true motivation come out other than the way it did. You know, and so we see this thing that people are accumulating. We're grabbing. We're putting stuff in this void, and they're not understanding what's happening. We see them, it says they'll acquire for themselves teachers to suit their own passions. So if I'm trying to find somebody to suit my passions, it's whoever's going to tell me what's going to make me what I want the most, right? It's not necessarily what I need. You see a child, if you take them to Toys R Us, they want everything. Yet they don't need everything. And in fact, if you give them everything, you're probably going to make them worse off than if you didn't, because they're going to become spoiled. And the thing is, guys, that's life right there. We are seeing that in our society today. Everybody wants everything, so we're losing track of this, of life, of truth, of who we are, of the physical, of actually what is. Because when we accumulate for ourselves what we want, we truly don't get what we need. Like, for instance, I've been trying to get healthy and eat healthy over the past few weeks. And so I've been doing that, and yet I sometimes find myself thinking, man, I really want a soda. I know I'm trying to give it up, but water's just not cutting it right now. And I don't like tea, and I don't like coffee, so I really want that soda. I want what's going to make me happy right now, but I don't need the soda. In fact, it's counterintuitive for me to get the soda. But yet we, as our personal self, would say, just go for it. But then in turn, then I'm going to be unhealthy and continue to be unhealthy. So what am I trying to get at here, guys? God says these things because we need to realize that sometimes what I want is not best. Paul says this because it's so important, and as Christians, as people, we need to not wander off into myths, into things that are what we want, because if someone's telling me what I want, then they're not necessarily out for what my best interest is. They're telling me what I need. They're just trying to get me for something else. I need to look at what's truth, to weigh everything against truth. Now, there's been a lot of debate as to what truth is over the past several years. Some people say all paths lead to God, or that your truth isn't my truth. But let me ask you this: is there not a fundamental truth in this world? Because there are things that just are. The dirt is dirt. Somebody can come and say the dirt's not dirt. That's some magical particle that if you blow on it, it'll make you fly like Peter Pan. Doesn't make it true. Truth is truth. There is no undefined. There is no element of this or that. There is truly an unmovable object that is the truth. Because it is what it is. That's what makes it truth. So say that my truth isn't yours. We may disagree about what the truth is, but somewhere in there, somebody's right, and there's a truth there. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So the problem with Christianity today is that we are trying to do the opposite of what these things are saying. First off, I'm not denying myself. Second off, I'm not going out and trying to reprove, to tell truth, to be in truth, to dwell in truth. Third off, we're being walking math people. Christianity and all of this stuff is on an assault from all corners by Satan today to come in, assault, to take away everything we hold dear. And the fact of the matter is, as Christians, we must hold the truth, speak truth, and dwell in truth. Because if I dwell in those three areas and those things embody me, I'll find true joy. As we see, the people have the most, a lot of times have the least, because they're confined to a box of trying to find happiness in something that is fleeting. So what's wrong with the church today? We are. Because our hearts aren't in the right place. So I challenge you today, this moment, on this Friday morning, to take yourself, roll these truths into your life, and work to make them happen. They don't happen overnight. They're not easy always to implement. It's not easy to tell people when they're wrong. It's not easy to live in truth when it's not fun. It's not easy. But God never promised it would be. He promised to be the rock and the waves crashing in that would hold us tight, that would allow us to pass through, that would allow us to survive with Him. I challenge you, run to Christ. I challenge you to flee from this worldly view that is taking over so much and go to God. If you like this video, guys, please hit a thumbs up. Share this video for people to think. What do you think? Do you think these are the issues that are truly going on in the church today, in the world today, or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Please keep it civil, no language. Let's have an interesting conversation, not get off into hate smearing or just yelling at one another. Second off, if you like what we do here at Multimedia, please subscribe to us. Let us know you enjoy it because we post content all the time and more of that goodness is on the way. Guys, as always, my name's Dan. God bless. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.